Sauri is taking your leave. We thank you for spending it valuable time with us. I hope you have understood some of the legalities that Jagdish Keskar has just explained. If I had to put it very simply, what he has said is, to drive a car, your car should have an RTO registration and the person driving the car has to have a valid license. You may drive a car which does not have a registration, you may drive a car without a license, you may do so till you are caught. But when you are caught, due to any reason, then nobody can see. So keep that in mind and accordingly practice pathology. Make sure that your license is valid, your car is registered, and you are following all the rules of the road. With this now, I would like to invite Mr. Dilip Srirao to come and deliver his talk. The reason why we have called him is because we do not understand the concept of police action in the pathology practice or medical practice. But what he says is that it is very much relevant today, and we have lots and lots of laws under which we can hold these people responsible. And I would like to take this opportunity first to welcome him and introduce him. His biodata is very long, so I will just tell you in very short thing. Sir is an IPS officer and he has done his Bachelor of Science in Biology and Master of Arts in English Literature. He has also done a Master of Arts in Public Administration, and he has been posted in various different areas including Jalna, Jalgaon, Solapur, Pune, as well as in Mumbai district. Sir's speciality is, his core speciality is anti-terrorist activity, and for us, our terrorists we know, and sir, we want him to give us bombs which can explode those terrorists. Sir has also been additional district head of police administration at Jalgaon. He has been the head of police training. Sir has also travelled abroad and he was in Sierra Leone in Africa. He has achieved he has got many decorations and prizes. He was awarded the Prime Minister's Silver Cup first prize. He has attended All India Police Science Congress. He has completed the advanced and intensive course in scientific investigation of crimes. And he has also got the Indian Police Medal for meritorious services, and it was awarded by none other than the President of India. He was awarded the UN Medal for appreciation of serving United Nations peacekeeping mission in Sierra Leone. And sir is now retired. He retired as a vigilance officer and additional commissioner at the FDA. So he has been exposed to various facets of medical practice. And after his retirement, he has become even more active. Sir has taken up various social causes. He is active on various different forums. And I would also like to place on record that Sir has agreed to become our honorary legal consultant. Any action that we want to take in the court or in the police station will be under Sir's expert guidance, and we will not move a finger without consulting him. I would like to place on record our sincere appreciation and gratitude for Sir doing this selfless and noble cause. Without any sacrifice, Sir, you are not available.
Good afternoon to everybody. Classmate, graduate, Langodi, Manjua. We are from the same village. He knows my inside out, I know his. Don't tell that. Dr. Matthew is my old senior colleague. When I come to Bombay, often thought of my own work. a long word and don't go by that. I am a grassroots man, working for grassroots causes. I feel attracted by issues relating to public interest and more so issues related to in the interest of the public. Rajiv has spoken much about me for obvious reasons because I am working free of cost for him. He offers me a cup of tea and possibly a dosa too. And just stop there. Anyway, jokes apart. I will give you some insight into the police functioning and how to go about the registration of officers, investigation of officers, the prosecution and the trials and things like that. Most of us do not understand the police processes. There are various police processes which one has to undergo. Nothing moves unless there is a provision for it in the law. And the legal provisions are to be strictly followed. They have to be shown as followed. Then the prosecution will begin. Then the trial will begin. And then conviction or no conviction, it all depends on the judiciary and the kind of evidence that we put. Anything and everything which is not designated and punishable under the law is not an offence. Few things I will tell you, few philosophies of law, which you should remember when you are talking to somebody and when you are making a complaint about somebody for some act. Nothing is an offence, no act, no commission, no omission is an offence unless it is made punishable under the act or any act in force in India. So anything which is not mentioned as punishable under the offence is not an offence. Now there are three kinds of action. The actions are offence, registration of offence, investigation of that offence, prosecution of that man in the court of law, and securing conviction in the court of law. This is one process. Another process is what is called as quasi-judicial action. Now the quasi-judicial action is, there are certain statutory bodies under the law who behave like a court, but not exactly the judicial court. They do not have the entire powers of judicial court, but they behave like a court and take some action against the person, erring person. It could be fine, it could be penalty, sometimes it could be jail also. So this is quasi-judicial action. And the third is administrative action. The administrative action is, there are certain provisions in the law. I told you already, nothing moves without the provision under the law. There are certain provisions in the law that if a particular doctor is not behaving properly, resorting to unethical practices as described by Dr. Keskar or any other thing, he is being administratively dealt with by deregistration or by cancellation of his registration or by suspension of his registration for a particular time by a statutory body called as an NC. Of course, this particular action or NC can be called in question in the court and those things will happen. But the NMC has the powers to do that. For example, if I am a government officer and if I go in a government office in a drunken state and I am sitting on a chair, what are the actions against me? Now here it will become very clear. I have come in the office in a drunken state, so I have violated conduct rules of being a public servant. Public servant, it is written in the conduct rule, the public servant should not intoxicate himself while performing public duty. So I have violated a conduct rule for which The conduct rule violating those authorities which take action will take action. One. Now what has happened is, I am drunk, and in that drunkenness, I am shouting at somebody. I am shouting at somebody, creating a scene in the office. That this is a disorderly behavior in the public place. Now this is punishable under Bombay Police Act. Now the legal thing has started. So I am punished for a disorderly behavior in the public place under Bombay Police Act, which provides for punishment. It's a legal process. Now furthermore, what I am doing is, not only I am shouting and etc., in the heat of that intoxication or something, I have molested one my lady colleague. Now here I am in more trouble. I have committed an offence under IPC. And now I will be, my offence will be registered against me, and I will be prosecuted also. So, drunkenness in the public office, which is obviously a bad thing to happen, has given rise to three different actions under three different authorities, under three different provisions. This you have to understand, that whenever you go to the police station, you have to understand one thing, that what kind of action you are suggesting, what kind of offence this fellow has committed. And with an eye on the section of the law, you have to give evidence to the police. He has committed forgery, this is the document, this is the kind of forgery, and this is what he should not have done, this is the full document. So he has committed forgery as defined under section 4 and 4 of IPC. Section says like this man has done like this. This is how you have to explain to the police. It's not that police are very good in law. It's not that you are also very good in law. But sometimes what happens, there is a misunderstanding. You cannot explain properly to the police, he doesn't understand it properly. You may say that police doesn't understand things properly because of mistake. You may say that. But that doesn't always happen. What happens is, you are not able to put forth your complaint in the proper manner because you have not understood the nuances of the action. I have told you three actions. So, whenever you go to the police station, first understand what the fellow has done against whom you are going to give a complaint. Is it an offence under any act? Does the act provide for that? If the act doesn't provide for that, the police will not take any action. Now, there are complaints in the police station which do not have any provision under the law, but they come to the police station. The ladies are sitting here, but I am not afraid of telling you the story. There was a lady who came to my office and complained to me that my husband doesn't sleep with me. Now there is no provision in the law. If this happens, what action will be taken? So I said, sorry, I can't take any action. Now, the complaint may be very serious than it actually appears. The complaint may be more serious than actually an offence punishable under the act. But action cannot be taken because it doesn't amount to any offence defined under any section of any law in force in any. So this is, in brief, the crux of the whole thing. And when you say that this man, this pathological laboratory or this something has done this thing and that thing, whatever you say, you have to read the section, you have to understand not only the section, the spirit behind the section, the spirit of the lawmaker behind it, and then go about the complaint, give an evidence, draft it properly. I would give you few pieces of advice. Don't draft the complaint in a very legal, sophisticated manner. Draft the complaint in simple Marathi, which the policeman understands. Most of the policemen do not understand your high-flown English. When you try to speak in that language, they misread you. Sometimes they say, oh, shagger. Oh, shagger. This is that. So don't do that. Simple Marathi, right now. In fact, we always say in police station, a man who doesn't know how to complain is a real complainer. And a man who comes with the full 3-4 pages with sections of law and this and that is a tutored complaint. This is what the police understands. So go with the proper Marathi. If he says want to make correction, you can make correction. There is no issue on that. Go with the proper complaint. This is one thing that you have to follow. But before that, you have to be sure that whatever you are complaining against is an offence under any section of law. And you have to put that section properly. Or you have to suggest that it is an offence under that he has done like this, he has done like this, that we have to suggest. This is one thing. Second thing is, you people usually get bogged down by circulars, government instructions, orders, circulars, orders, instructions, memos are more powerful in your mind than the legal provisions. This is not correct position of. No circular, no government instruction, no memo has any legal validity unless it is in accordance with law. If it is not in accordance with law, it has to be thrown. Remember 4 things I am telling you. If there is a conflict between regulation tabled before the parliament or before the legislature, in the case of state, and parliament in case of central government. If there is a regulation made under an enactment in accordance with law, and there is a circular issued by the same department, and there is a conflict between the two, follow the regulation, don't follow the circular. If there is a conflict between regulation and rule made under the enactment, you will always read there is always the enactment.